Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Waode Morisuno. I'm 23 years old and I'm an architecture student at Halu University. So in architecture, environment is very important because it's part of the design. In fact, the first step we do before designing home is to analyzing the environment before deciding things. So yeah, environment holds a very important role because as human, we basically need nature to live. Oxygen from plants to breathe, food to eat, build home to live, so basically everything. So today I want to share something that I consider very important and urgent, and I think everyone should talk about this often. These days you can feel that the earth is getting hot. Even like 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. in the morning, it's feel like 1 p.m. because it's burning your skin when you're outside, and it's not just in the day but also in the night. I can feel that temperature is not getting good and I have to use fan all the time. With all this problem, it led me into one conclusion that the majority of the problem we face today is from a big company. Before I explain that in detail, let me get this straight. I appreciated companies that prioritize sustainability, but unfortunately, some big companies that always manage their trust properly, which can be really concerning. And I don't want to give example from another country because it's too far, so let's talk about the closest one. And you probably know about this place because it's so popular among us, like everyone always talk about it. So this place is called Morosi. So 2 weeks ago, I got news from Kendar Info saying that one of the big company in that area is dumping their trust in the local river. So this is not a good news, but a very bad one. And these companies produce steel and steel and nickel, so you can imagine that the trust is gonna full of chemical, very bad. And if you saw the news, you can see clearly that the water turned into black, not brown, but a very deep black. And the local is depending on this river to live. So this is horrible because this trust is gonna affect basically everything. The water itself, the animal that live there, and the local probably gonna get sick and let into suffer in the long term because of this. And it's not just the water. A big company always produce a big chunk of black smoke, and I often wonder how people gonna be able to breathe with this chemical in the air. And I usually don't read news that much because I'm not really into environment stuff, but with this news, it's really caught my eye, so I read more about it. So there's this guy who's the father. His name is Samsudin. He lives in Tani Indah, one of the village near that company in Morosi. So Samsudin own a fish pond just few meters from company location. Samsudin is now 65 years old, physically no longer young. His body is frail and his health is getting worse. So for more than 3 months, a fish in his pond is not really reproduced well. Normally from seeding process to the harvest process, it's only take 3 months, but now it's difficult, say Samsudin with a grin. Samsudin also said that he had undergone intensive care at Kendar City Hospital. In 2023, this man had to go to Kendar City Hospital 22 kilometers from his home to get more serious treatment. Based on the result of radiology examination, Samsudin lungs were diagnosed with lung damage and chronic respiratory disorders. And the doctor told Samsudin that he had a black dust mixed with white in his lungs, and the doctor also advised Samsudin to always wear a mask even while sleeping because this dust is also gets in the room even in the bed. So the more I read about this news, the more I realized that this problem is keep getting darker than I thought. And it's not just him, I mean Samsudin, who feel this way, but all the people in that company is feel the same. Sometimes the mother in the house complains because they have to sweep and mop 3 times a day because the furniture in the house is covered with the black dust. And as I say before, that we do appreciate companies that prioritize sustainability, but unfortunately, the majority of big companies don't always manage their trust properly. And if you think about it, it is their responsibility, so they should taking care of that. So if they didn't, they deserve to be stopped. And finally, after fight so many years, from 2017 until now, the local people finally win this case in a court to save their home. And it actually 2 months ago in August. So with this victory, it's really bring a breath of fresh air to the public, as big companies also can lose in a court, especially when they are proven to have damaged environment and surrounding ecosystem. So with this case, it's really inspired me to care more about environment, especially around us. And it also taught me the importance of the role of young people, because we are the one who's getting education, so we must lead this problem and fight together with the local people, and to save our environment, and most importantly to keep fighting. No matter what the situation is, no matter what the outcome, that you must never stop trying and keep fighting. And finally, I like to dedicate this video to the local people in Morosi, the brave people who win the case in court over big industry. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.